Welcome to This Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today because, well, we're going to look at something truly fascinating. We're breaking down the captivating evolution of sports psychology. We're going to explore how this incredible field went from just a kind of curious sideline observation to becoming the absolute core of champion building all across the globe. To kick things off, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered how coaches discovered that the human mind could decide who wins and who loses? It's a pretty profound question, isn't it? I mean, we so often think of sports as this purely physical test, right? A test of sheer strength, speed, and agility. But there was this pivotal moment in history when people began to realize a massive truth. The muscles in the human body can only ever go as far as the brain allows them to. Today, we're going to trace the story of how this incredible scientific discovery actually began. Section 1, a simple cycling observation. Okay, let's dive into this. We need to travel back in time a bit, back to the late 1890s. You see, the story of sports psychology doesn't begin in some high-tech modern laboratory, and it definitely didn't start in a Grand Olympic Stadium. Just imagine a cyclist racing entirely alone on a dusty track, pushing their absolute limits, just trying to beat the clock. Now imagine that exact same cyclist racing directly alongside other human competitors. In the year 1898, an American psychologist named Norman Triplett was watching cyclists do exactly this, and he noticed something highly peculiar. The cyclists who were racing directly against other people, they were consistently riding much faster than the ones just riding alone against the clock. Curiosity simply took over. Triplett didn't just watch this and move on. He decided to conduct one of the earliest scientific experiments in the entire history of psychology. And his resulting research demonstrated a massive breakthrough. The mere presence of competitors could actively influence and enhance human performance. He actually gave this phenomenon a specific name: social facilitation. In simple English, this is the psychological phenomenon where the presence of competitors influences and enhances human physical performance. It basically means you naturally run faster, pedal harder, and push further when someone is right beside you, challenging you. Now, Triplett didn't use the fancy term sports psychology back then, but his research firmly established that psychological factors absolutely dictate physical performance. This simple observation would eventually transform world sport. Section 2, Pioneers of the Mind. As the global world of physical education moved into the early 20th century, coaches, trainers, and athletes started to realize something important. Relying purely on a gut feeling or just past experience simply wasn't enough anymore. They needed a true scientific edge. So, following Triplett's 1898 experiment, we move into the early 1900s, where a really important character emerges from Germany. His name was Carl Diem. Diem was a total visionary who heavily promoted applying scientific approaches to both sports training and physical education, which really helped establish sports science as a highly respected academic discipline. And then we reach the 1920s, and we meet another brilliant character, Coleman Roberts Griffith. Today, Griffith is widely celebrated as the father of sports psychology. He fundamentally believed that athletic performance relied just as heavily on psychological preparation as it did on sheer physical ability. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that to earn that title in the 1920s, Griffith established one of the world's very first sports psychology laboratories, right at the University of Illinois. Instead of just making athletes lift heavier weights, his focus was entirely different. He was meticulously studying reaction time, how athletes learn, their attention spans, their motor skills, and overall athletic performance. He worked directly with coaches to apply these principles out on the field. He even authored these groundbreaking books like Psychology of Coaching and Psychology of Athletics to help coaches truly understand the inner workings of their athletes' minds. Section 3, the global mental shift. For a few decades, this fascinating new field grew somewhat slowly, but this discovery changed everything. Countries woke up to a brand new reality after the Second World War. Scientific mental preparation was the actual secret weapon for international sporting success. Very few people expected what happened next. Through the 1960s and 1970s, the field of sports psychology experienced a massive worldwide explosion. It gained incredible global recognition. Universities began introducing specialized academic courses, researchers started conducting highly systematic studies, and professional organizations just sprang up all over the world to promote this education. Competitive sports were becoming increasingly demanding, and athletes quickly recognized that physical training alone was entirely insufficient if they actually wanted to win on the world stage. And that brings us directly to the modern era. Today, sports psychology is utilized across almost every elite sport imaginable. We're talking cricket, football, Formula One racing, badminton, gymnastics, and so many more. Sports psychologists now work intimately with Olympic athletes, national teams, and massive professional clubs. They use these scientific techniques to help athletes master their confidence, maintain high motivation, improve concentration, and achieve absolute emotional control. Just think about a Formula One driver needing pinpoint focus while driving at incredibly high speeds, or a gymnast managing intense stress right before a gold medal routine. Mental preparation is now equally as important as the physical act itself. It's a real game changer.
Section 4, Technology Meets Sports Psychology. Let's move to and see how this builds into the modern era.
Modern sports psychology isn't just about sitting on a couch and talking. It's about deeply analyzing the intricate connection between the brain and the body using state-of-the-art tools. And this brilliantly illustrates how we are now combining cutting-edge technologies like artificial intelligence, wearables, and virtual reality to measure athlete behavior, biofeedback, performance analytics, and neuroscience. Today, technology has completely transformed this discipline. Psychologists can actually track a player's physical biofeedback in real time while they're under stress. They use virtual reality to put athletes in high-pressure game situations without them ever stepping foot onto a physical field. This phenomenal technology allows them to understand, measure, and predict athlete behavior more accurately than at any other point in human history.
Section 5, Champions of Everyday Life. Now you might be wondering, okay, this is great for Olympic athletes and race car drivers, but what does it have to do with me? Well, here is the absolute most exciting part of this entire discipline. We are all champions of our own everyday lives. And the exact same mental tools that elite athletes use to manage extreme competition stress apply directly to you and me. Everyday professionals managing exams, high-stakes job interviews, and corporate leadership challenges rely on these very same foundations. Students use visualization to prepare for big examinations. Business leaders use goal setting and emotional regulation to make really important corporate decisions. Musicians use relaxation techniques before walking out onto a stage, and military personnel use focus training for high-pressure operations. These are the identical psychological principles being used right now to conquer completely different arenas of life.
So the crucial point is that the awareness and application of these principles are expanding rapidly across the globe. Take India, for example. Over the past few decades, awareness of sports psychology in India has grown incredibly steadily. We are seeing major focus from cricket franchises, elite badminton academies, Olympic preparation programs, and various sports institutions. While the field is still developing compared to some Western nations, everyone is waking up to the fact that to be the best, you absolutely must prioritize mental training. Because of this, the opportunities for sports psychologists in these regions continue to increase dramatically. Every major scientific discipline begins with curiosity. That perfectly sums up our journey today. This entire incredible evolution started just because a man named Norman Triplett got curious about why some cyclists pedaled faster when someone else was riding right next to them. That simple observation blossomed into a profound global scientific discipline that now helps millions of athletes achieve peak performance. The history of sports psychology proves, without a doubt, that true champions are built not only through punishing physical training, but through a deep scientific understanding of the human mind.
I want to leave you with one final thought today. How will you use the science of champions to conquer your next great challenge? As sports continue to evolve, sports psychology is going to remain one of the most important tools for developing confident and resilient individuals. Whether it's a massive presentation at work, a final exam, or even running a marathon, always remember that your mind is your absolute most powerful muscle. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep feeding your curiosity, and I cannot wait to see how you apply these powerful principles to your own life.